This essay example, as well as thousands of others, is available in text format on our website for free and without registration. Simply Google Ivy Panda Free Essays.
Silenced is a movie based on the events that happened in one of the Korean schools in 2005. This film, released in 2011, presents the problems that may exist in any society where corruption, the influence of particular people, the ill vision of life, and the absence of strong and legal regulatory bodies create terrible conditions that lead to more terrifying outcomes. The problems raised in the movie are social and should bother the whole society as being based on realistic events, which means that there may be many places where disabled children are treated in the same cruel way. Silenced is a movie that dwells upon the physical and sexual abuse of children who attend special schools for disabled children. The problem is really important and impressive as children are not protected due to their social status, and disabled children are unable to tell about their problems and are afraid of telling adults about abuse as they fear physical or sexual punishment. Trauma, as one of the particular aspects of the movie, should also be considered as those children who are abused in childhood are unable to perceive this world adequately. Their vision of reality is changed, and there are no guarantees that such children will grow up deserving members of society as the traumas they get influence their perception of the modern world, people, and events. Child abuse is considered a great problem. However, trauma based on physical and sexual abuse is rarely treated. However, this is one of the most important aspects doctors should pay attention to while treating children. Silenced is about sexual and physical abuse of disabled children who are not protected at all, about trauma they get in the attempts of one person to solve the problem, but illegal society, corruption, and careless attitude of others do not give him an opportunity to complete the task effectively and at once. The movie starts with the period when Gang In-ho is on his way to a school for hearing-impaired children in Gwangju. On his first day, he faces the problem of taking a position he is to pay for. Then, he sees more terrible things. Children at school are abused. He observes how a teacher severely beats a student, and then he hears cries, but others say to him that this is a norm for disabled children. Finally, he gets to know the truth, but the problem is that no one wants to deal with this case as the main abuser is a school director who is a respected person in a city and who has much influence in the place. Therefore, Gang In-ho appears in a terrible situation. On the one hand, he cannot look at violence and illegal abuse which takes place at school. On the other hand, he needs money to pay for the operation of his daughter. The situation is complicated by the fact that to pay for the position, Gang In-ho had to mortgage a house. In-ho teams up with human rights activist Seo Eugene, but their attempts seem to be wasted in vain. The play of the actors does not impress, frankly speaking. Most of the emotions and reactions are based on human mercy in relation to abused children. Gang In-ho seems to be the most emotionless person in the whole movie. The director of the school and the vice director also do not express any emotions on their faces, just their attitude toward children, the actions they do, and the words they say to children make the audience understand their feelings and emotions. Additionally, the film is in a gray color that adds to the perception of reality. It is impossible to say that it is either an advantage or a disadvantage. It just supports the movie's tone and makes the perception of the film deeper. Sochi's review is mostly based on the movie plot, not on the personal perception that makes the film view procedure more subjective without the influence of objective opinion from the side. The movie does not carry any entertaining features. Being initially a social creation, it makes people think about the problems that exist in this world. In most cases, people do not notice what happens in the surrounding world or do not want to notice, but Silenced is the movie that must be seen. People should see how those who have the power to influence the city authorities have an opportunity to do whatever they like as they are sure that the whole city, including the police and church community, will try to cover the truth. I was really impressed with the movie. There were places which I could not watch due to the cruelty. Even though the play of the actors is rather primitive in some cases, I suppose that it adds to the realistic tone that must be present in this movie to make others think about global social problems. Did you like this Silenced, 2011, by Hwang Dong-hyuk sample? To get more works like this one, make sure to check out the free database of academic paper examples at ivpanda.com. You will find thousands of samples for all your study needs without even having to register.